Ow, sorry, my arse is fucking killing me. Insanely. So, if you remember, I said on my birthday, so we're going back over a week now, I fell on my left arse cheek basically and bruised my hip bone through my arse, and a week later it was still hurting. Well, earlier today I popped to my brother's gaff. You know, he's got one of those like wooden like V porches, it's just like a roof over the front door, and I didn't notice that it was there as I walked across to grab my keys out my bike, and I walked straight fucking into it in my head, because obviously with your helmet on you're a bit taller than you think you are. I literally went doof, fucking fell over backwards straight onto my fucking left arse cheek again, and I'm not kidding, I feel like I've been arse raped by a rhinoceros. It is so painful to sit on this bike at the moment. I'm not being a girl. I put up with a lot of pain. I have a bad knee and a fucking ankle, and you know, I put up with that. But this arse pain is ridiculous. Oh, ow. And every little bump is just like, ow. Anyway, right, I better say it because, you know, I haven't said it yet. But I'm wishing you all a happy Christmas. Sorry, it's hard to say that C word. Filthy word. What should I say? I hope you all have a nice time off work if you get time off work. Obviously, as a chef, what Christmas actually means to me is more fucking work, and a lot more fucking work. So that's the thing when you're a chef, or you work in like the service industry or something like that. The days that the office workers are all off is the day that you work harder. So when everyone's going, oh, nice bank holiday coming up, or oh, it's Christmas, or oh, I've got 2 weeks off, it means we're working 3 times, 4 times harder. It's ridiculous. And that also leads me on to another thing. Tipping in the UK. Ow, my ass! You know, in America, you wouldn't question giving someone a tip, would you? A service charge. It's normally, was it 5, 10%? 10%? And if you didn't do that, you would be seen as a complete arsehole, I believe. I don't know how that's the English opinion of how American tipping works. And normally people are quite generous. Well, you see, in England things are a little different, depending on where you work, of course. If you work in some big high-end restaurant, you probably will get a fair amount of tips. In fact, I've known people get like £100 tips who've worked in certain places. Most people in most, you know, standard restaurants do not tip. Ow. And the thing is, the reason why you're tipping, if you don't understand it, is because the person who's running around that evening, or day or whenever, getting you your drinks, bringing you your food, taking your order, running backwards and forwards, coming back to check you're okay, all of that shit, they're being paid minimum wage normally. So your tips are what are there to help boost up their wages. Obviously, if someone's shit, unattentive, useless, then maybe you shouldn't give them a tip. Maybe that should teach them a lesson. But if the person's been good, or just done what they're supposed to do, you should give them a tip. I mean, even if it's a couple of quid, do it, because it all adds up and it makes their life a lot better, and it's a shitty job to be in. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it. It's one of the reasons I moved into working in the kitchen. I can't actually handle working with the fucking mouth breathers that come in. I just can't do it anymore. I lost all my patience. After being in the kitchen for like about 6-7 months, I had to go out front again and do a couple of waiting shifts, and within 20 minutes I actually nearly had to go at a customer because I lost all my patience. I lost the ability to just go, yes sir, no worries. When they're like, say things like, oh, can you get me the sauces? It's like, they're on the stand, the help yourself stand, 3 feet behind you. Yeah, but can you get them for me? No, I have to run and take the other 40 plates of food. Now obviously, if I wasn't busy, I would have done. But if you're really busy and you're running around, it's better to not do that. Let them do it themselves, because you've got to run backwards and forwards with the food and make sure people aren't waiting too long for their food, because if their food goes out slow, obviously it becomes cold, or it dries out under the hot light. And also it holds up the kitchen, because they're like, you know, the window, as it's called, where everything's sent out, gets clogged up with food that should have gone a while ago. So that's why people sometimes can't help you there. And these days it's getting worse and worse for us in the service industry, because there's like waiters, waitresses, cooks, that sort of thing, because the companies want to make more and more money, because obviously pub and restaurants are not doing as well as they were years ago, because people don't want to spend out the amount of money that they charge. You know, it's like you go to a pub for a pint, cost you nearly a fucking fiver. A pint. You could buy 4 cans for that amount at home. So what's happened is, rather than pubs being owned by families who, you know, want to look after their staff and care about their staff particularly, the companies are owned by accountants. It happens in a lot of places. The accountants take over, especially sort of during the recession times, and they just set numbers and say, deliver those numbers, and if you can't deliver those numbers, well then you're fucking fired. That's what managers get, and that's why sometimes I actually, you know, I'm like, I'll let my manager off for being a bit shitty with me, because I know the shit he's going through. Being asked to basically do the impossible, because all they want to do is, ow! Damn my ass. They want to pay the staff as little as possible. They want to charge as much for everything as they can, and they want to use as little members of staff as they possibly can, even when it's the point that it's not physically possible, and the people that are running the food know it's not possible. So your tip is a thank you, and it's a good help to that person who is working sometimes 2 people's jobs but getting paid 1 minimum wage. But the amount of times, like, we'll have big tables of like 20-30 people come in, and they will leave an £8-9 tip between them. If they all gave £1 each, that's 30 quid, obviously. But no, you work it out, on some tables they give about 15-20 pence each. The other day while walking through Havant, it was quite interesting. There was this little cafe that's there, and someone had left a tip of 1p. Now, if you leave a tip of 1p, trust me, there is only one way that's going to be taken. That is a fuck you. As a, yeah, I know I should give a tip, but I'm just going to give you a penny. If someone is shit, and you really want to piss them off, then do leave them a penny, and they'll know what it means. It means, yeah, I would have tipped you, but you're crap. It's interesting, as an Englishman, I knew before I started talking to Americans that Americans tipped. It was just the way it was. You know, it was like there was no question about it. It was, we're going to leave you a tip, and the only question is just how much. Anyway, as I say, happy Christmas. I'll catch you next time. He's alive! This one's alive! Are you definitely dead then? See, on the risk that I don't know if these are actually dead or alive, and I know that one of them is alive, I'm going to try and get them back in the sea, which is going to be difficult without hurting them. So I'm just going to have to leg it and then throw. Fuck!